There are moments in history when the world does not look away, not because it wants to, but because it cannot. A young girl, her face tired but calm, her eyes open, alert, almost thoughtful. No screaming, no panic, no chaos in her voice, just presence. Her name was Omayra Sánchez. She was 13 years old. And for 3 days in November 1985, the world watched her, not knowing whether it was witnessing courage or witnessing failure in real time. This is not simply the story of a natural disaster. It is the story of warnings ignored, decisions delayed, and a child who became the conscience of humanity. High in the Andes of central Colombia stands Nevado del Ruiz, snow-capped, majestic, seemingly peaceful. To the untrained eye, it looked eternal, a silent guardian watching over the valleys below. But history knew better. In 1845, the volcano erupted. Not with fire, but with water and mud. The heat melted ice. The ice became floods. The floods erased towns. Entire communities disappeared beneath thick rivers of debris. The land learned the lesson. Humans did not. More than a century later, Armero stood proudly on that same land. Fertile soil, busy markets, families raising children, planting futures. Nearly 29,000 people lived there, but beneath their feet lay buried history, and above them the same mountain. Maps existed, records existed, warnings existed, but memory faded, because danger that sleeps for generations often feels imaginary until it wakes. By early 1985, Nevado del Ruiz began to stir. Scientists noticed seismic tremors beneath the volcano gases escaping from its vents. Rising internal temperatures, Colombian geologists raised alarms. International experts confirmed the risk. They were clear. Even a small eruption could be catastrophic. Hazard maps were drawn, Armero highlighted in red. But evacuating tens of thousands of people meant panic, economic disruption, political accountability, and so officials hesitated. Meetings replaced action. Reassurance replaced urgency. The volcano still looked calm. And calm is comforting, even when it's deceptive. Omayra Sánchez was born in 1972. She was a student, a daughter, a child with ordinary dreams and an unfinished future. She trusted adults. She trusted authority. She trusted that someone would say something if danger was truly coming. On November 13, 1985, Omayra went to bed like any other night. No sirens, no evacuation, no warning loud enough to break the routine of sleep. That night, the volcano erupted. Not explosively, not dramatically, but enough. Hot ash fell onto the glacier. The glacier melted instantly. What followed was unstoppable. A massive lahar, a river of mud, rock, ice, and debris, raced down the mountain at terrifying speed. In total darkness, it swallowed everything in its path. By midnight, Armero no longer existed. Homes collapsed, streets vanished, families were torn apart in seconds. More than 23,000 people died. Omayra survived the initial flood. In November 1985, the Nevado del Ruiz volcano in Colombia erupted. It wasn't the lava that caused the disaster, but the massive mud flows known as lahars that buried the town of Armero, claiming over 20,000 lives. In the middle of this unimaginable devastation, one small voice emerged, capturing the world's attention and breaking its heart. This is the story of Omayra Sánchez. When rescuers finally reached the ruins of what was once her home, they found 13-year-old Omayra trapped. She was pinned from the waist down by concrete and debris, submerged in a pool of mud and water. But she was conscious. She could speak. She was alive, surrounded by wreckage that refused to let her go. The first responders and volunteers did everything they could. They tried to pull her free, but the debris was too heavy. Her legs were trapped in a way that pulling could cause more harm. What they desperately needed never arrived: heavy machinery to lift the concrete, powerful pumps to drain the water, and a coordinated, large-scale emergency response. The government, overwhelmed by the scale of the disaster, was tragically slow to act. So Armero waited, and as time stretched on, something else arrived before the rescue equipment did: the media. For nearly 3 days, as she stood trapped in that cold, dark water, Omayra Sánchez spoke to the journalists who gathered around her. In the face of a terrifying and hopeless situation, her composure was astonishing. She spoke calmly, asking about her father and brother, who were also missing. She worried about being late for school and missing an exam. She even managed to smile sometimes, a small, brave light in the surrounding darkness. She sang songs with the journalists and volunteers, trying to keep her spirits up. Incredibly, she tried to reassure the adults around her, the very people who felt so helpless to save her. At one point, she spoke the words that would echo across the globe: "If you leave now, promise you will come back later." It was the plea of a child asking for comfort, while simultaneously offering it to others. The world watched, captivated and horrified. It wasn't an easy story to follow, but it was impossible to look away. A French photojournalist named Frank Fournier was there. He captured an image that would become one of the most iconic and haunting photographs of the 20th century. Omayra's face, her dark, piercing eyes, staring directly into the lens, steady, dignified, and profoundly human. That photo won the World Press Photo of the Year award, but it also ignited a firestorm of outrage. People around the world asked the same agonizing questions. Why was she being photographed instead of saved? Why did cameras arrive before cranes and pumps? Why had the government ignored scientific warnings that the volcano was about to erupt for weeks? Fournier later defended his decision, saying, "The photograph forced people to confront the reality of the situation, and that reality was deeply uncomfortable." After nearly 60 hours, Omayra Sánchez died on November 16, 1985. She didn't die suddenly or unseen. She died slowly while the world watched, waiting for a rescue that never came. Her death became a symbol of government negligence and the tragic cost of inaction. The aftermath sparked a global debate about disaster preparedness and media ethics. In Colombia, the tragedy led to significant reforms. Volcanic monitoring systems were improved, and mandatory evacuation plans were put in place. Omayra's story became a critical case study in emergency management courses worldwide, a lesson written in loss. But her legacy is more than just institutional change. It's a moral one. Omayra reminds us that knowledge without action is meaningless, that leadership is most crucial before tragedy strikes, and that all too often it is children who pay the highest price for the hesitation of adults. Omayra Sánchez never chose to become a symbol, but we remember her because in her final hours, she looked into the eyes of the world and revealed something fundamental about our capacity for both compassion and failure. Her story leaves us with a question that still resonates today. When the warnings are clear, the science is sound, and the danger is known, why do we still wait? Omayra faced her fate with unimaginable courage. The question is, have we learned how to face ourselves? Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please consider sharing it. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that deserve to be told.